Welcome back to another episode of Dead Rappers vs Suspects Part 5. If you have missed Part 1 to 4, you can search the videos on the channel. Here are the men who killed our favorite rappers. Chicago rapper FBG Duck was born and raised on the often dangerous south side of the city, and got involved with gangs and street violence at a young age. Duck came up as part of rap crew the Fly Boy Gang, hence the FBG prefix, which overlapped with various factions of Chicago street gangs. Violence loomed heavy as he began his rap career in his late teens. And along with an incident in which he was stabbed by a girlfriend and multiple rivalries with other gangs and rappers, his older brother FBG Brick was shot and killed in July of 2017. FBG Duck's turbulent lifestyle and loved ones who died far before their time were frequent topics in his series of mixtape releases, which included highlights like 2015's Different Personalities, the 2017 follow-up Different Personalities 2, and 2018's emotionally volatile Look at Me Too. FBG Duck was shot and killed outside of a retail store in the Gold Coast neighborhood in August 2020. He was one of 3 people shot when a group of 4 men got out of 2 cars and opened fire in the first block of East Oak Street in Chicago. C. Murda, Kenny Mack, Los, C. Tang, and Muwap were all charged in the murder of FBG Duck. The 5 Chicago residents, part of the O-Block Street Gang, were charged with committing murder in aid of racketeering. A statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office for Northern Illinois said the 5 men, who it said were members of the O-Block Street Gang, publicly claimed responsibility for acts of violence in Chicago and used social media and music to increase their criminal enterprise. Vaughn Bennett, known as King Vaughn, was born on Chicago's South Side and raised in the crime-ridden O-Block neighborhood. By his teen years, King Vaughn had turned to crime himself and would spend years in and out of jail before he began rapping in 2018. After hearing some of his early tracks, Lil Durk took an interest in King Vaughn and welcomed him into the Only the Family collective. His early single, Problems, gained some traction, but it was the captivating narrative of a robbery-turned-shootout on Crazy Story that broke through to a larger audience. A video for the song released in late 2018 was streamed over 20 million times. This put the rapper on the map, and he followed it with the single, Cousins, featuring Just Blow 600 in March of the next year. On July 24, 2014, Vaughn was arrested in connection with a shooting in May 2014, resulting in the death of Malcolm Stuckey and the injury of 2 other men. Vaughn was charged with 1 count of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. The shooting took place in Englewood, Chicago. After witnesses failed to testify in 2017, the charges were dropped. In June 2019, Vaughn and Lil Durk were arrested in connection with a shooting in Atlanta. Vaughn, along with his co-defendant Banks, appeared before a judge in a Fulton County courtroom for a probable cause hearing. Prosecutors claimed that the 2 rappers robbed and shot Alexander Witherspoon outside a popular drive-in on February 5, 2019. After weeks in jail, Durk was released on a $250,000 bond, while Vaughn was released from a $300,000 bond. To further his rising career, King Vaughn relocated from Chicago to Atlanta. His debut mixtape, Grandson, Volume 1, landed in September 2019. Featuring Lil Durk on a pair of tracks, the set debuted at 75 on the Billboard 200. The rapper's second set, Levon James, arrived the following March, with a higher-profile list of features including YNW Melly and NLE Choppa. The mixtape continued the frantic brag rap of its predecessor. In October 2020, Vaughn's first proper studio album, Welcome to O-Block, was released, featuring guest appearances from Durk, Polo G, Moneybagg Yo, and others. On November 6, 2020, at around 2:15 a.m., Bennett and his crew were involved in an altercation with Quando Rondo's crew outside of the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia. The dispute quickly escalated into gunfire, and Bennett was shot multiple times. He was transported to a hospital in critical condition and died there later that day. He was 26 years old. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation reported that 2 people were killed and 6 wounded. One of them was placed in police custody for the murder of King Vaughn while being treated for a gunshot wound. The suspect was identified as Timothy Leaks, a rapper also known as Lil Tim, who is affiliated with Quando Rondo. Lil Tim was later granted bond and is now a free man. In August 2021, a mural depicting King Vaughn was painted by artist Chris Devins, in Parkway Gardens, Chicago, where Vaughn was from. It was meant to serve as a tribute to the late rapper. The mural was seen as controversial amongst Chicago residents. Some of them argued that it would attract gang-related crime to the area, and that it was a glorification of gang violence. On March 4, 2022, King Vaughn's management team released his first posthumous album, What It Means to Be King, which collects great success by arriving first in the Billboard 200. Melvin Abdul Noble Jr., best known by his alias Mo3, was a rapper and singer. Mo3 was talented, and his songs won the hearts of millions worldwide. He was born in McKinney, Texas. He completed his high school education and moved to North Dallas, where he began his rap career. His rap debut came in the form of his 2014 mixtape Shottaz. On the strength of that effort, he developed a local following and inked a deal with his idol, Texan rapper Boosie Badass. The sequel to his debut, Shottaz Reloaded, arrived at the close of 2015. The album featured Hold Your Tongue, which went on to become a moderate hit for Mo3, notching nearly 2 million streaming views in the year after its release. Reloaded hit number 14 on the Billboard Rap chart, climbing to number 2 on the Heatseekers chart. His follow-up, For Indictments, appeared in late 2016 and topped the Heatseekers chart early the following year. He also issued the Gangsta Love, PT1 mixtape in 2017. Mo3's 2018 project Shottaz 3.0 would include one of his biggest hits yet, the cautionary Everybody, which also racked up millions in streaming numbers. The next year, he mainly released singles, including the Aaliyah sampling, No Feelings, and the stormy, Too Much Pride. In February 2020, he teamed with storied Louisiana rapper Boosie Badass for the collaborative mixtape Badass Mo3. The project quickly entered the Billboard 200 chart at number 136. In September 2020, Mo3 was reportedly involved in a shootout outside of an adult entertainment club in Houston called V-Live Bar Lounge, leaving 2 people injured. The suspect started shooting at Mo3, who pulled up in front of the V-Live Bar Lounge around 3:30 a.m. Mo3 and his friends started shooting back. That's when 2 male employees standing in a crowd of people in front of the bar got shot. Mo3 was shot and killed on November 11, 2020, while being pursued by another vehicle as he was driving on Interstate 35 in Dallas. He stopped the car in front of a semi on the center lane. The suspect stopped his car as well and approached Mo3 while he was in the car. Mo3 tried to retrieve a weapon but was unable to and ran south on the highway. The suspect chased him and shot Mo3 multiple times with a rifle before returning to his dark-colored vehicle. The suspect fled in the car, believed to be a 2015 Chevrolet Camaro. Mo3 was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. 3 weeks after Mo3's murder, a man known as Kewan Dontrell White was arrested and charged with the murder of Mo3. According to the arrest affidavit, a witness contacted police during the investigation and that information helped lead to White's arrest. White was taken into federal custody for prohibited person in possession of a firearm, and in 2022 around November he was sentenced to 105 months in federal prison after pleading guilty to possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. A year later, in 2021 around April, a second person, whose real name is Devin Maurice Brown, was charged in the shooting death of Mo3. Early the following year, in 2021 around April, Mo3's label issued a posthumous Mo3 album called Shadas Forever. Dolph, short for Adolph Thornton, Jr., was born in Chicago and raised in Memphis. He debuted in 2008 with the mixtape Paper Route campaign. Subsequent releases like the Wheat album and South Memphis Kingpin brought him into 2012, when he dropped the first in a successful series of mixtapes dubbed High Class Street Music. By the time High Class Street Music 4 and the Preach single dropped in 2014, Dolph was working with major label producers including Drumma Boy and Zaytoven. Both provided tracks for his 2016 debut LP, King of Memphis, which featured no guest artists. Thanks in part to Dolph's audience-expanding featured role on OT Genesis preceding Cut It, the set debuted at number 49 on the Billboard 200 chart. A trio of mixtapes followed shortly thereafter. Rich Crack Baby, the last of the three, entered the Billboard 200 upon release and included guest appearances by Boozy Badass, 2 Chainz, Whale, T.I., Gucci Mane, and 21 Savage. Another mixtape, Gelato, followed in early 2017, containing the Yo Gotti diss track, Play With Your, as well as tracks featuring Migos, Wiz Khalifa, and Lil Yachty. Dolph's second studio album, Bulletproof, was released in April of 2017 and reached number 36. Mere months later, he issued Thinking Out Loud, which featured guest spots by Gucci Mane, 2 Chainz, and Dollar Sign. The album was another success, hitting number 16 on the Billboard 200. In early 2018, Dolph issued the EP Get Shot Every Day, following up later that year with the Key Glock collaboration Major and the solo track By Mistake. The full-length Role Model appeared later in the year and became Dolph's highest charting album yet, hitting number 15. In 2019, Dolph joined frequent collaborator Key Glock for the number 8 hit Dumb and Dumber, the pair's first collaborative mixtape. Dolph's seventh studio album, Rich Slave, landed at number 4 in August 2020 and found him addressing issues of racism and inequality in America. Included on the album were guest appearances by Megan Thee Stallion, Key Glock, and G Herbo. In 2021, Dolph and Glock reunited for Dumb and Dumber 2, a number 8 hit, followed promptly by Paper Route Illuminati, a showcase album for Dolph's Paper Route Empire label. On November 17, 2021, young Dolph was fatally shot in Memphis whilst visiting Makeda's Homemade Butter Cookies, a bakery he frequented whenever he was back home. 2 gunmen in a white 2-door Mercedes-Benz gunned him down. An autopsy revealed that Thornton had 22 gunshot wounds from bullet entries and exits. Some wounds were sustained in the forehead and back. Crowds of hundreds of people swarmed the scene of Thornton's death for hours. Police had to prevent individuals from entering the area while they investigated. Tennessee House Representative London Lamar and Memphis Councilman J.B. Smiley reacted by calling for a curfew in Memphis to prevent civil unrest and violence. On January 5, 2022, police identified one of the suspects responsible for the murder as 23-year-old Justin Johnson, and issued a first-degree murder warrant. A reward of up to $15,000 for information on the suspect was offered by the Tennessee authorities. Johnson had an established history of criminal charges and violence, as well as ties to organized criminal gangs, and was a rapper under the name Straight Drop. Another suspect, 32-year-old Cornelius Smith, who was arrested for the theft of the car used in Dolph's murder, was indicted on first-degree murder, weapons possession, and theft charges on January 11, 2022. The same day, Johnson was captured by police in Indiana after law enforcement received over 500 tips leading to his arrest. 27-year-old Shundale Barnett, a passenger of the vehicle Johnson was driving, was also arrested. On January 12, 2022, Johnson and Smith were indicted on first-degree murder and other criminal charges, while Barnett was charged with being an after-the-fact accessory. After Johnson and Smith struggled to find legal representation, they were given an ultimatum by Judge Lee Coffey. On February 7, 2022, Johnson appeared in court again for violating a sex offender registration charge, after reportedly being convicted of aggravated rape in 2015. He also claimed he was unable to afford to hire an attorney. On February 11, 2022, both Johnson and Smith pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. On November 10, 2022, a third suspect was indicted for the murder of young Dolph and the conspiracy to murder Thornton, 43-year-old Hernandez Govan, whom is alleged to have ordered the murder of young Dolph. It is likely that the trial for those accused of murdering young Dolph will not occur until 2024 due to the severity of charges and the discovery procedures by the defendant's attorneys. In December of 2022, previously unreleased material of young Dolph was collected for a new titled album Paper Route Frank, which included appearances from Key Glock, Gucci Mane, Big Moochie Grape, and others, and rose as high as the number 25 slot on the Billboard charts. Vincent Coren, professionally known as Slim 400, was a rapper based in Compton, California. On June 21, 1988, Slim 400 was born to unnamed parents in Frankfurt, Germany. His father was stationed there while in the U.S. Army. After Slim 400's birth, his father was transferred to Los Angeles, California area. Slim 400 grew up in neighboring Compton, California, where he attended Compton High School. Compton High School was also notoriously known as the center of the Crips and rival Blood Street gangs. Slim 400 became a member of the Bloods gang while attending Compton High School. When Slim 400 was 19 years old, he was almost killed while driving in a Crip neighborhood where he and a fellow passenger were shot and wounded by Crips. Slim 400 survived, but the passenger did not. In 2008, 20-year-old Slim 400 would meet fellow rappers and Bloods gang members, YG, and Mustard. 1 year later, with their help, he released his first mixtape, High Off Trees. Slim 400 released other mixtapes during his career, including Keepin' It 400 in 2014, Faux Block in 2015, Faux Block 2 in 2017, Faux Reala in 2018, Shake Back in 2020, and Bompton in 2021. While Slim 400 produced numerous mixtapes and had some success as a touring rapper, none of his mixtapes or his singles ever sold 500,000 units, the standard for a hit record or album. In 2019, Slim 400, while visiting his family in Compton, was shot 9 times in a drive-by shooting by unknown assailants. He survived the shooting and remained in the hospital for 2 weeks while recovering. 2 years later, on December 8, 2021, Slim 400 was shot and killed by an unknown gunman in Inglewood, California. On June 9, 2022, 2 people were arrested in connection with the shooting death of Slim 400. Michael Linnell Terry, of Los Angeles, and Tamara Lynn Bell, of Inglewood, were taken into custody. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's offices filed criminal charges against the pair, which includes a murder charge against Terry. His bail was set at $3,025,000. Bell was charged with a felony count of accessory after the fact with knowledge of the crime. Her bail was set at $1 million. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos.